Hey, welcome back to the channel, and today we are talking about one of my favorite designers, Craig Green. So let's get straight into it. Now, Craig Green studied at Central St. Martin's and finished his master's degree at Central St. Martin's in 2012. He then went on to release his first collection, which was his AW13 collection, in collaboration with fashionista and Topman. Now, if you don't know what fashionista is, they've actually had a documentary made with ID, so I'll put that in the description below. Now, what you might be wondering is, what does Craig Green's clothing look like? Now, anything with straps, just anything with, he's basically known as the Lord of Straps. He's the king of straps. So anywhere you see straps, that's most likely going to be Craig Green. Now, a big thing about Craig Green is, I think, in terms of fashion, in terms of the whole fashion community and people really into fashion, he's popular. But in terms of the general public, he wasn't popular. But in recent times, he's had some good publicity. People like Skepta wearing the Moncler and Craig Green collab. And I think the Moncler collab was something that really put him in the forefront in fashion. Craig Green's clothing is very unisex. Now, he does design menswear and he is known as a menswear designer, but ultimately he makes trousers and jackets which men and women can wear anyway. And this is why, after a point in time, he decided, actually, why don't I make women and men walk on the same runway, just to prove how unisex my clothing is, which is really good because it widens his customer base. It's not only men buying his clothes, but also women. A big talking point about Craig Green is the fact that his fashion shows are spectacles. A lot of the time in his fashion shows, you'll see the models with big wooden platforms and holsters all around them, and some people even are like, how are these models putting up with this? But it makes a show, and that's the type of fashion I like. I think nowadays everything's just getting a bit too easy. You look at fashion shows are just boring. They just wear the clothes and walk down the runway. It's no longer a spectacle like it used to be. Like, if you watch the old fashion shows, you'll see that they were more spectacles. There was more that went behind it. And I kind of link this to music. When you look at music videos now, there's no real like planning behind it. Someone just has a camera, maybe a few edits, and they push out the music video. Whereas if you look at music videos from past times, there's a whole concept, sometimes choreography. Like, the thought behind music videos was so good. I think people nowadays are getting a bit lazy. So I'm glad that, even though it's kind of infamous and some people don't like it, some people like it, I like that Craig Green is bringing back the spectacles in fashion on fashion shows. Now, something I really love about Craig Green, and this is what I say a lot, we all can't be good at everything. We all have things that, some things we're better at, some things we're worth it. We are all good at something and bad at others. So some things we're really good at, others we're not as good at. Now, Craig Green, when he first started studying at Central St. Martin's, he wanted to design women's wear, but then he realized that it takes a certain type of person to design women's wear, and he's better suited to design menswear. I find that quite funny because now he makes unisex clothing, so maybe he could design women's wear, we'll never know. But I like that he stayed true to himself. He wasn't trying to force himself to do something when he knew he wasn't that good at it. I feel like nowadays everyone's trying to be a jack of all trades, but it's better to actually just focus and hone your skills on the aspect that you're really good at. Another thing to talk about Craig Green is he did intern for Walter van Beirendonck, who I have talked about earlier, so if you haven't checked that video out, the link is in the description below. And I'm going to make more videos on the Antwerp 6, so stay tuned for that. Now, Craig Green has won a huge amount of awards. He's won British Menswear Designer of the Year, and when he designed his first collection individually, so like I said, his first collection overall was AW13, but that was in partnership with fashionista and Topman. And then when he graduated from fashionista, he then released his own first collection, like his first individual collection, which was his Spring Summer 15 collection. Now, this collection was just huge. I think in the past, that's the problem with being an experimental designer. Some people don't really understand where you're going with your clothes, and they don't understand the design. So when he first came out, AW13, and he brought out his first collections, you see a lot of fashion critics who were saying bad things about him, basically bashing his clothes. But by the time he released his SS15 collection, I think people started to understand where he was going with the clothing. They're understanding, okay, this stuff is really out of the ordinary. It's really unique, but at the same time it's wearable, which is really important. There's no point having something that's so unique but then no one can wear it. So that's when you now see loads of fashion critics who used to say really bad things about his clothes and his design start to say really good things about what he was doing and start to give him more praise, which he deserved in my opinion. I'll let it be known that Craig Green is definitely one of my favourite designers, hands down, like there's not even a debate. But I think his more recent collections haven't been the best. His more recent collections, though they've been good, they have basically been really repetitive. So the past 3 years have kind of been basically the same stuff. I think he needs to find some new inspiration. But I always respect him, especially for his old designs and his old fashion shows, to be honest. So, I mean, that's Craig Green in a nutshell. If you enjoyed this video, like this video. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned for more. On this channel, I just talk about fashion designers in general and anything to do with fashion, but obviously for this channel, my bread and butter and what sets me out from everyone else is that I talk about fashion designers. So if you're interested in that and you want to learn more about that, then subscribe to this channel, and I'm out.